Diorite, considered by some to be the ugliest block in Minecraft. But can it be saved? Is there any hope? Can anyone find a real use for diorite in Minecraft building? Yes, they can. Hello, everybody. My name is Inferno390, and welcome back to Practical Minecraft. It's been a while since I've been here on the channel, um, so this is just as a little reminder. This is a series I've just been wanting to put together about the building in Minecraft, practically doing things practically in Minecraft. Um, a beginner's guide to Minecraft, if you will, on how to put certain blocks together and so on and so forth. And so, as I haven't been on here in a while, there's been some build projects, including this huge thing, which I will get to later. We've got some other builds going on since the last time I was here. But today, the focus is going to be on this little block here and diorite. What might be the use of diorite in a Minecraft video, I might ask you? And this simple block here is going to be our dummy for one of the most important tools of Minecraft building, which is your palette. And so when we're talking about a palette, that means the different blocks you use to build your structures. Like over here, the palette consists of your wood and your birch wood, birch planks, oak log, stripped oak log, cobblestone, and so on and so forth. But I did go over a little bit in the in the last episode of Practical Minecraft how your palette is important. But today I'm going to go into more detail. How you craft a palette. What are key components of a palette? What are you looking for? And so a palette consists of three very important factors. And I'm going to refer to them here as red versus green, light versus dark, and vivacity. Now, basically, these are all different factors that you have to determine that are based on block color that determine what you need for your palette. So, for example, we've got diorite right here. Now, there we've got this lovely diorite structure over here, and I'm not joking when I say some people say diorite is the ugliest block in Minecraft. So, and as you can see why, right? I mean, at least in polished andesite will pair with stone bricks. Granite you can pair really nicely with acacia wood, which I'll get into later. But diorite, what are you supposed to do with diorite? Well, you can do this. And so see, I've got this really nice palette we've got dark oak and yeah, here's dark oak planks and dark prismarine. Got the diorite, I got polished diorite in here, the glowstone, just glass, and has this really cool rustic sort of medieval kind of feel, magical kind of. And we got the stone slabs right here. We got all these different elements that come together to form a really cool, really neat build. So how do we get there? How do we get from ugly diorite block to a palette that is appealing and would look really good? So we're going to take this, I'm going to break it down into these three steps: red versus green, dark versus light, and or light versus dark, and your vivacity. So the first step is red versus green, and this relies on the color wheel. Now, if you don't know what the color wheel is, it's really easy to explain. So I'm going to grab my green, red, and green, and yellow, blue, orange, purple. Okay, we got 6 colors right here. So, I assume most of you have heard of the color wheel before. It's really not that simple hard of a concept. You've learned it on it pretty early, but basically, we got a red, we got green, and we got yellow, and we've got purple over here, and we've got blue, and we've got orange, right? There's something along those sorts. And so the idea is that, these colors are, as you learn whenever you learn this, I can't remember, probably like kindergarten or preschool or something, you learn that these colors are sort of opposites. So when you have these colors, you when you mix these colors, you sort of get a neutral color, like brown or gray. They can't sort of cancel each other out, and that's how it has to do with how the colors are formed and stuff. But the main point is that you've got your orange and blue um, are contrasting colors, and so what this means is that you've got whoops. If what that means is that you have these they end up actually pairing really well together because they add such contrast, so it grabs people's attention. So if I got orange here, and right, and then I do blue on top of it, and then do more orange. See, that's that's eye-catching. That grabs people's attention, right? That striping, or even you could do this and go here and do that, and then do this. That catches your attention. It's an eye. It's an eye. A pop. The piece sort of pops. Um, there's color to it. So that's just really simple way of doing it with that. So you've got this. So if you can find a balance between your colors, where you're using colors that sort of contrast or and complement each other, you get some really interesting colors. Now the next important thing is light versus dark, and this is a very good example of light versus dark here. This build, and it's part of why diorite is so important in this build. So light versus dark is the idea that you've got your contrasting colors in your color wheel, right? You got your red and your green and your yellow. Now, part of the reason these colors contrast is we've also got warm colors and cool colors, right? Well, this plays into the idea that some colors are darker than others. Blue is a darker color to the eye than, say, yellow. Yellow is a bright color. It's got light to it. So yellow is probably closer to white than purple is. Purple's closer to black. You can get really light purples that are whitish, but generally, when you're talking about the color wheel and stuff like that, you're gonna end up with purple is closer to black, right? If I take black concrete and white concrete and say, okay, put this over here by this, right? That doesn't seem like those are close at all, but if I come over here, those are pretty close, yeah? I mean, they're not like, oh my gosh, you can hardly tell the difference, but they're pretty close. So we've got, and then the same thing for white. If I come over here, I mean, you can see that, right? But if you take it to purple, the purple pops out a lot more against that white. So we have this contrast where we're going white and black, and then you got something in the middle, like this gray concrete, which admittedly, we can actually probably do this because of the way concrete works in Minecraft. We can do this, and this, and then I need black again. Black like so, see? And now we've got black with this sort of shading thing going on. So this is important because light versus dark also gives us a contrast in build. And so we've got this. We end up with something like this, where we've got the dark prismarine, and it's this dark wood against the very light background of your build. Um, so when you've got this white color right here, we can complement it with the darker colors of like dark prismarine and things like that. And so it allows us to use it effectively. So when you're building with diorite, obviously you want some darker complementary colors. So let's see. So dark prismarine is one. Dark oak planks are another, obviously. Right? So, but we could go even farther. Come over here. Let's see what we got. We got obsidian. Obsidian plus diorite could make for a really cool looking unfinished build. Black terracotta also looks good. It's closer to this color, see? All of these colors could really complement this white, and you could do different things with them. So, um, so obviously there is some sort of use for diorite in this scenario where we can use these different colors to build this sort of structure. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is vivacity. So, when you're building, one of the biggest blunders you can make is to just do, for in terms of creative design, is to just build a house like this. Okay, it's got that shape. It looks great, right? It's Now if we build up the walls a little bit, you're starting to notice the problem, aren't you? It's just stone brick. There's no color to it. It's lifeless, and that's because even if you're doing it with, say, this, if you just build it with a lot of this, it's still really lifeless. There's not much to it, and it does pop, but there's not much to it. So this isn't this. That's part of why palettes are so important, and part of a palette comes from the vivacity of a object. So what I'm talking about is vivacity. It's when we've got this color wheel, right? Now, in the center of the color wheel is where your grays and your browns and your see, gray and your brown and your black end up. They go here. Nope. Sort of like that, see? And so, this is important because what you can do is by using this sort of effect where you're building, where you're using your neutrals, and so and you're using your contrast and complements, you basically build a palette. It's sort of like painting. Something I've learned from User is that when you're starting to, when you start a painting project on like canvas, you always prime the canvas with paint. He usually paints, builds a uses cream and then paints on top of it. This helps the canvas absorb the paint, but also it sets a background for the paint. Lots of art will have some sort. They'll build some sort of background and put things on top of it to add detail, to have depth, to give it some pop, some zing. So if I, for example, come over here, here's a really good example. I was gonna build one, but this is a really good example. I've got this cauldron sort of looking thing that I built. So if I built this out of stone brick, just out of the cauldron out of stone bricks, it looked okay, but it was very interesting. But I used, look, see, I used this green concrete in to use it in the build, and I used this mossy cobble. See, and so what this allows you to do is allows you to add some complexity to build, add some depth. So it really starts to make it pop, and it comes to life. It adds some dimension to the build. So um, adding this sort of vivacity and this color to your build will really help things to bring things alive. And this is true even with this. Even if you're using a bright color, you still need to build something in front of it. You still need that palette. Because even though it's a bright blue, it's boring to look at and it can be hard on your eyes. So these are all important aspects of your palette that you have to be considering. So what colors are you using? Is your base color a light color or a dark color? How will you augment it with other colors? How will you add contrast and use it to draw people's attention? So to finish up, I like to look at some different ways that you can take advantage of this, and we're going to use that with diorite. So diorite, as like I said at the beginning of the episode, is considered by some to be the ugliest block in Minecraft. And I have to agree with you that this it's not a nice block texture. It doesn't look good by itself. When you put it next to stone, it looks ugly. And Diorite at least has the same palette as stone where you can use it like that. See, if I pull up in Diorite, I pull up stone, see, at least you can combine that with cobblestone to do stuff. And acacia wood, right? Acacia logs, and I can pull out my diagranite, right? I mean, that looks pretty okay, right? You can at least combine it with some darker colors. Diorite's just diorite. It's kind of ugly. Let's be honest. So, but there's still ways to use it. Because here, as you can see, this build is made mostly of diorite for its base color, and it still looks pretty good, right? So how do you do? So how can we take advantage of diorite's template block texture to use it effectively? Now, diorite unfinished is probably where I would go because this, unless you're using it as like an augmentative to add detail, I would never use diorite like this. And remember that um, I would use dark prismarine with it, to be quite honest. And you can get this really cool looking marbled effect with the block. See? That would look really good on a floor somewhere. Doesn't that look good? It's very different looking, but it's very interesting to it'd be very interesting to play around with to build. Use some like stone bricks to add pillars and stuff like that. So, because see, we're using this diorite as a see, I can do this. We're using a diorite as sort of a base color, and then we're using the light to sort of this light stone brick to sort of or stone slab to sort of complement it, right? And like that, see, we're sort of using it to sort of complement, and we can use the glowstone to add this sort of continue this sort of unfinished feel, right? And so it looks sort of like that, and that looks pretty cool. Um, we can do it again right here. See, that's pretty neat looking. And even when you're starting out, like obviously you can't get your hands on dark prismarine early in the game because it's a drop by a very hard to kill mob. But dark oak planks work just as well. I mean, it's not great. I would prefer the prismarine because it has this sense of like marbled look, but that still looks pretty good. Let's be honest. You could use that early on to make this a pretty cool looking walkway. So there's this, and another good example of a palette is over here. So now this has some other aspects involved, like detailing and things like that. But for now, let's just take in the fact that what we've got here is we've got this medieval castle, which is huge, by the way. It's a project I haven't worked on in a while that I need to work on a little bit. But we've got the base palette is the stone brick, and it's boring. Just a stone brick wall would be boring. So by using this aspect, many things come into play. We've got dark versus light here. So we got this smooth stone, and we got this stone bricks. Okay, stone bricks and smooth stone, they're great. They look really good together. Because we got this light for dark contrast going on, where we've got the dark palette, and then we use the light to highlight some aspects. And then down here, we've got the vivacity of the blue contrasting to our neutral grayish color. So it adds some pop, adds some zing to our build. Now we come down here, and again, we've got this even lighter color as sort of detailing and lighting and stuff like that. But now, also look how we've also got the blue concrete and the acacia planks. And so this is just a really good combination because we've kind of got the bright, vibrant, vibrant blue versus this toned down sort of palish orange. It looks really good together when you combine it with the muted colors of our stone. So it adds this. So it all comes together to make this very medieval, cool looking build. And you can come in here, and this is the only tower I've got complete. But as you can see, I've got all this stuff going on in here. Like, oops, that's mean hit that. But we've got the glass going up, and I mean it could be orange, but it looks pretty good white, right? And we've got the acacia up here, we got the blue and things like that. So it all sort of contrasts and sort of complements each other in this really interesting way. So, and then if we come back over to our first build, we've got this palette here. And so, just to wrap it up, let's talk about this palette here. So we've got our light colors. We've got our birch, right? And then we've got the stripped oak logs, right? And then we've got our dark, and we've got the brownish colors of we got the dark brown of the oak, and the dark brown of the dark gray of the cobble. Now, we've got this sort of yellowish white color for the whole build, so that is going to be our sort of vibrancy. It gives the build a mood of this bright color, and so combining that with the dark accents here and the sort of muted accents combined with this whitish sort of whitish energetic color, it really makes it pop. So if we come in here, it's really got this feel of a of this light place. And so when you're using palettes or you're building palettes, these are all important things to think about. And even when you're first starting out and you've only got access to like a couple of these blocks, right? I mean, you can only get so many, right? Um, you can get stone relatively easy. You got your wood depending on where you're spawned, and so um, I mean, you can't really get your hands on bricks. Can't get your hands on purple pillars. So you're kind of limited in what blocks you can use. But this started see even here, diorite in a dark oak forest would look really cool. So these are things that you need to that you ought to keep your eye on when you're building in Minecraft. So take advantage of the palette available to you in the different blocks you have around you, and sort of start to craft palettes. And this will give you a theme for your build, a color scheme, and that will help your build sort of come together. And you'll be able to do different things, and you'll be able to make more advanced builds that way. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you guys have found some more uses for diorite. Maybe not the ugliest block in Minecraft like we all thought. So leave a like, subscribe. If there's anything else you want me to explore on Practical Minecraft, please leave a comment down below. The comment